outside with us, like me, Sophie, and him, and I want us to have a family day. But he wants to stay home and spend time with us.
So much selfish, or should she be upset that her husband is not spending his day off with her and the kids? So her husband works 2 jobs and he works 64 hours in a week, and he gets to have just a day off in that week. And she's telling him, like, you know what, I want to go out, I want us to go out and spend time with the child, with the children, and also me. But then the man is like, I work 64 hours a week, I work 2 jobs, this day off is for me to rest, and I want to spend the time with you guys in the house, not outside. Do you think she's not reasonable for her being upset that her husband doesn't want to spend the day off with them outside of the house? What is your take? Because this conversation, I've got a lot of people talking, so that men are reacting to this video and women are reacting to the video as well. But this particular video is the women reaction. Anyway, what is your take on this? Let me show you some reaction on this video, then we'll come back and talk about it.
Yo, so here's the thing. My husband works 2 jobs, and he works 64 hours a week, has like one day off. And within that one day, I want him to go outside with us, like me, Sophie, and him, and I want us to have a family day. But he wants to stay home and spend time with us. But I don't want that. I want us to be outside. And I'm upset with him because we don't go outside and do activities as a family. Am I being reasonable, or am I being a bad wife? My husband works 2 jobs, and he works 64 hours a week, has like one day off. And within that one day, I want him to go outside with us, like me, Sophie, and him, and I want us to have a family day. But he wants to stay home and spend time with us.
It just sounds like he's tired. 64 hours a week is a lot. I didn't watch all of your videos and I don't know your situation, so excuse me if I get it wrong. I would say talk to him, because it's always important to talk to your partner. But when you work 64 hours a week with only one day off, I just think he's tired and he wants that one day to rest, and that's understandable. I was with someone who was a workaholic who worked a similar number of hours. I knew him 13 years before we became a couple, and he was always a workaholic, but when we got together, I made him cut back on those hours. I knew that he wasn't working that much due to financial need, and it really bothered me that he works so much. I just feel like that is emotionally and even physically unhealthy. And as his partner, the most important thing to me was his well-being, and it had nothing to do with him spending more time with me. He can go do whatever he wanted. I just wanted him to be happy and have a healthy work and personal life balance. Now, I did see you say this.
You know what I'm doing all day long? I'm pretty much rotting on my couch. It is very comfortable. I rot on there all day, every day, all the time.
Again, I don't know what your financial situation is, but maybe talk to him. Maybe you can pick up some part-time hours in like a work from home situation to help him if he needs it, so that he can get some time off and you guys can spend some time together as a family.
My husband works 2 jobs, and he works 64 hours a week.
All right, I'm gonna just stop you right there. Your husband works 2 jobs, 64 hours, right? And you want him, the one day he's off, to go outside with you and the family. First of all, if I was to date men, I'm not allowing my man to work 2 jobs, 64 hours. He only gets one day off. And then I'm a bother and nag him to go outside on his one day off with me and the kids. See, you want a man to do everything. He's doing everything. And the one day he get the fuck on to go outside with you and the kids, let that man see sir, I know you probably love her. 64 hours, 2 jobs. I can't. You got the right one.
So just a quick couple things about this video. If you haven't seen it, I'll tag it in the caption.
This woman is basically talking about, am I wrong for being upset that my husband, who works 2 jobs, about 64 hours a week, on his day off, he doesn't want to spend time with me and the kids outside. Like, I want him to go outside and like create memories and experiences with our kids, but he says he is really tired and he wants to spend time inside. Let's discuss. First, I want to address the comments and the everyday, par for the course misogyny and the erasing of women's labor in those comments. There was a lot of people calling this woman ungrateful because supposedly she should be happy that her husband works 2 jobs to, and I quote, allow her to stay at home. Now, if you're fucking stupid, I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you why that's offensive to and why it's actually very ungrateful on the man's part, if anything. As a mother, especially as a mother in this type of situation where your husband is working so much that, yeah, obviously he's gonna come home after his shift and not be very present. He's also gonna choose to not be very present on the weekend because, quote unquote, he's still so tired from working 64 hours a week. Ballpark, how many hours do y'all think moms spend on motherhood per week? I'm just curious because a lot of people were like, you should be so grateful that this man would work 64 hours a week. How much time does a mother spend being a mother? Because last time I checked, it's 24/7. She never gets a break. Working 64 hours pales in comparison with trying to parent like several children, which it sounds like they have. So first of all, let's please do away with the misogyny of he works X amount of hours to allow you to stay at home. That's fucking bullshit, okay? It's more like she parents 24/7 so that he can work whatever kind of job he wants without having to worry about, and here's the real kicker, his own children. That's the real exchange, okay? It's she works 24/7 so that he can work those 64 hours, okay? Because he couldn't do that otherwise and still have kids and still have a wife and still have like a functioning household where he wouldn't be relying on like fast food and takeout to replace basic meals, where he gets to benefit from the presence of like a woman and children and his quote unquote legacy continuing, etc. That's what he gets in exchange for working 64 hours a week. He gets a 24/7 nanny, servant, cook, cleaner, chef, life planner, etc. All she's asking for in return, right, is now starting to seem a lot more reasonable, right? She's asking, can we spend some time outside on your day off? And he says no. Now, on his day off, I'm assuming the kids are still there. I'm assuming somebody still has to take care of the kids, right? Exactly. And I'm assuming that it's her. This whole idea of a day off as a parent is fucking ridiculous to me. What do you mean? Why is it that men are the only parents that get to have a day off just because they go to a day job? Moms never get a day off. Women never get the day off. She presumably just has to take her kids outside by herself on those days. And she doesn't get a break from anything. So when he says like, no, it would be difficult for me to do that, like on my day off, it'd be difficult for me to go outside with the kids. So it is hard work. So it is work to bring your kids outside, to get out there, to do all the parenting duties. So it is a lot of work. So why does she have to do it 24/7? It doesn't seem like he ever has to do it. Second of all, ladies, here's the cold, hard truth. And this is why I explicitly tell y'all not to have kids with men. Don't have kids with men. Have kids for yourself. This is how it's going to end up every single time, regardless. Men do not care about their children. That's the secret. And I'm not saying this is always on purpose like this, but a lot of men work these, high demand, work late, overtime type of schedules because they don't want to come home to their wife and children. And you don't have to take my word for it. There's plenty of receptionists you can ask. There's plenty of women in every kind of field that you can ask that are like, the men will dilly-dally from 5 p.m. onward just to like have excuses to, oh, I had to work late, oh, I had to stay around the office, oh, I da-da-da.
and they either all go to the pub together or sit around the office and like drink and just bullshit or whatever, or have like pointless meetings, pointless business trips. All of these things they do literally to get the fuck away from you and their children. A lot of times, like, men will be in these jobs and they'll act like, no, like, there's nothing I can do, you know, the boss is making me work late, etc. And really the whole time they're just at the pub after work. They didn't have to work late at all. I'm not saying that this is what this man is doing in particular, but also a lot of men will stay in these dead end situations, like, without particularly trying for a raise or a promotion or a lateral transfer into a different department. Like, they just won't even try. It's not that important to them. It's not that important to them to have a day off. You know, a lot of men would rather work like another part-time job instead of trying to do something from home, you know, start a business, anything that would bring them closer to their family, they're immediately averse to. And it's just a lot more common than you think. Once again, I'm not insinuating that this is what this exact man is doing, but a lot of men enjoy feeling needed. You know, they enjoy feeling overworked and like irreplaceable, and they brag about this shit. You know, younger guy tells them like, oh, I worked 50 hours this week, I put in some overtime. They'd be like, oh yeah, I remember my first part-time job, da da da. They love this shit, you know, they love to brag about it. They love to act like this irreplaceable cog in the machine. You're always replaceable. Never forget that. You know who's not replaceable? Your child's father. That's you. That's you. And you need to spend time with those kids. And this is frankly why it's a lot of men that end up unaliving alone. They don't give a fuck about spending time with their kids. And when their kids get grown enough to realize that, and when their kids get grown enough to realize that they could have made changes, or they could have just gotten over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just gotta get over it. Like, my parents and I immigrated here. My parents had to go to school and have jobs and do like extracurricular activities. Meanwhile, surviving on like $600 a month. And our apartment cost $532 a month. This was a long time ago. They spent time with me every weekend. They were tired as fuck. But I didn't want for anything, especially time with my parents. Like, I knew that there was like at least one day out of the weekend that we would have like a little bit of family time. It wasn't all that hard. My parents worked really hard, both putting in probably like those 60-hour weeks, my mom included. Spending time with me was important to them, so they would make sure that it happened. Like, I don't understand. Like, even when my dad like had to work night shifts and stuff like that, he still made time for us as a family. I'm telling y'all, some of these men you're gonna marry are not like that. They want life to be a continuous easy ramp, you know, and they don't realize that there are no easy ramps in life. There's only people, naive, well-meaning people, that will lay themselves down and become that easy ramp for you. And most men are okay with that being their wife and children. Their wife and children taking an L so that they can continue being seen as the big king gorilla provider in the family. A lot of these men really enjoy the power that that gives them. You know, nobody bothers daddy on the weekends and da 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 da. Meanwhile, mom has to bust her ass 24/7, taking care of the kids 24/7. If he was like a good father, he would just suck it up and deal with it. Like, you're not telling me you didn't know this before you had kids. You're not telling me you didn't know you were going to have to work those 2 jobs or work hard or whatever. You still chose to have the kids. So now, what are the kids supposed to do? They're just supposed to never see their dad. They're supposed to never have memories with their dad outside of their house. Do you care about your children is the question. I feel like this woman would not be coming to the internet asking this question if there wasn't some legitimacy to it, right? Because again, she's probably thinking, I'm with the damn kids 24/7. I probably get to hear them asking about their dad and like, where's dad? When's dad coming home? Da 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 da. Kids like their dad, especially when they're little. Her all week, what are we gonna do? You know, when daddy's not working, like, can we go do this? Can daddy come see this? Can daddy do this? Oh, I have friends of mine that happen to be men and that are wonderful dads. And you know what they do? They go out of their way to make sure, even after they're done working, even when they've had those like overtime weeks or consistent overtime or whatever, Their children are still their priority. Like when it comes to my kids, I'll just sleep when I'm dead because I don't want to miss a goddamn thing. The fact that a man would just be like, yeah, I mean, work is hard. We knew this. Everybody knows this. Motherhood is really hard too. It's a lot of hard work. It involves a lot of the same things. Make your conclusions about these quote unquote provider men. These men want to make barely enough to support a single family, and then they want to blame their lack of involvement in their own family with their own children on the fact that they quote unquote have to work hard to provide. Well, you should have chosen better. And I don't mean the woman, I mean the man. You should have chosen a better job. Now you're stuck with the one you have. What are you going to do about it? What are your kids supposed to do about it? They're supposed to just accept this? How do you accept it? How do you sleep at night knowing that on your one day off, you refuse to go outside for a few hours with your children? Which, by the way, ladies, a lot of men won't even be working overtime and they'll still refuse to do this. Men just don't like doing this. They see this as women's work. Like going outside with little children, that's women's work. Why would they be involved in that? They just work 64 hours at a job, at a big boy job. What could be more important than that? Their own children? God forbid. Please stay safe out there, ladies. Just in case you were wondering, yes, I'm absolutely on the woman's side in all of this. I think she's absolutely correct. I think he needs to suck it up and get outside with his kids. And y'all can burn me at the stake along with her. I don't give a fuck. Godspeed.
My husband works 2 jobs, and he works 64 hours a week. Has like 1 day off. And within that 1 day, I want him to go outside with us, like me, Sophie, and him, and I want us to have a family day. But he wants to stay home and spend time with us. But I don't want that. I want us to be outside.
Girl, that man is tired. And if he's working full-time every day, he is working at least 10 hours per day. That's a lot. And I don't know what kind of work he does, but that's a lot of working in 1 week. 6 days a week, 10 hours. As soon as you get home, you basically got to get up and go back to work again. He is tired. And it would be one thing if he wasn't making any effort at all. It would be one thing if he wasn't making an effort. But you said he wants to spend time with y'all, just not outside. And you're upset that he doesn't want to go outside. And I don't feel like that's fair. I don't feel like that's fair. I don't feel like that's right. And I don't know what y'all's circumstance is. Everybody's situation is different. And parents like to handle things with their kids differently. Like you do have some, at least one parent that wants to stay home with a child or the kids until they're able to go off to school for safety reasons. And I absolutely understand that. But when somebody recommended that, hey, maybe you get a job so that he doesn't have to work as much and he can have more time, it'll be a better balance. You literally said no, LOL. And I don't know what the circumstance is. I don't know how old your baby is, right? You're complaining about something that I feel is a little minuscule and is a little unfair because he's working a lot and it doesn't seem like it's not equal. Like, I'm hoping you making a little bit of money off of TikTok because I want everybody to make their money. But I just feel like the way you handling this is not okay. And now you getting you ask people, hey, am I a bad wife or not? And some people calling you a bad wife, and now you saying you're not a bad wife. Look, you asked for our opinions, and we just giving them to you. I think you need to be a little more realistic. That man is tired. He's working a lot. He's exhausted. He seems to love you because I watched a couple of your videos after you posted the one that I just green screened. It seems like he loves you and he cares. But be gentle with that man because he is doing a lot. I would recommend y'all sit down and have a conversation. Don't say nothing else on social media about it. Talk to him offline, get something situated, and maybe start you a little side hustle so you could be bringing in some extra money, not only for yourself, but also for the family. But that's my 2 cents.
Do you want a husband or a slave? Do you want a life partner or a slave? Do you even care if your man is enjoying life as well? Or do you just want to be provided for? Or do you just want a soft life? Do you just want to enjoy life while your slave works away and jumps and flips whenever you say? That's not love. To the lady whose husband works 64 hours a week and she stays at home with the kids, and on his 1 day off of the week, she wants him to go outside and have a family day with the family, with her and the kids. when he just wants to stay at home and rest because he's working every other day of the week. That really goes to show y'all don't want life partners. Y'all want a slave to work for you and do whatever you say. Literally. It's like give. And yes, trust me, I believe in princess treatment. I believe men should work hard. I believe in being spoiled. But it's like y'all want to be spoiled and can't even be considerate of the person. Literally. No consideration. No, oh, he might be tired. It's like nobody even cares. You just want a slave to work, pay the bills, and do whatever you say. True love, like a healthy relationship, requires consideration from the man and the woman. Men can't give, and you're on your butt all day saying, I'm just a girl. That's why you guys have very off-balance ideas of what love and relationships are that are very unattainable because it's very unrealistic.
No doubt. No doubt. He's going to be tired. He's going to be exhausted. Going out to work 2 jobs, he's going to be tired. And his day off, he will just want to sleep. No doubt. But they not be firewood. Okay? Everybody's going to get tired if you work yourself too much and you don't rest. I personally feel like his off days are his resting days. So yeah. But I feel like they can still work things around the off days. If it's going to pick probably one of the off days in a month, they can go out and enjoy. So the thing is, when you look at it in just the man's side of the whole situation, you want to blame the woman and you'll be like she's been selfish or she's asking too much or you want your man to be your slave, or if you look at it just in the man's side. But if you look at it at the woman angle, then, and also the man angle, you will understand where she's coming from. This woman is a stay-at-home mom. She is a stay-at-home mom and she works round the clock. Aside from that, she has been indoors all day, all week. It's tiring, it's exhausting, having the same routine over and over again. So probably she's the kind of person that she prefers to still hang out with that same family, but outside. She needs to breathe a little fresh air outside the house. And she asking her husband, okay, you know what? Today is your day off. Let us go out and have some family time. It is not too much to ask. It is not too much to ask. That is why he's married with kids. There are sacrifices you do for your family. No matter how it's paining you, you must try to do it. And that is, I'm not saying all the days of the week he should go out. He needs to rest as well. Because if he's sick, she's still the one that will still take care of him. So if she's wise, she'll rather just, let's pick a day. Let's pick just one time in the month where we'll have family outing. So if he's really going to be spending time with the family in the house, which I doubt, because somebody like that just want to stay inside, what he's going to do is probably sleep, watch TV, and he will want to rest. He will want to rest. If he's outside, then he knows that he's outside with his family. He will want to engage with the activities that are going on. But the thing is, if both of them can come together and say, okay, you know what, let us make a day or just once a month where we can go out and enjoy a family time. I feel like that is reasonable because she is also working. And there's possibility whereby she might be tired of just sitting at home. If she decides to go out alone on his day off while she left him and the kids in the house, people are still going to come for her and say, oh, you're such an ungrateful wife. Why are you wicked? Why will you leave a man that was working 2 jobs and came back? His day off, you're living in with children. So now, my own is, if we're saying that taking care of children is a lot of work. So a man that goes and works 2 jobs, he's also working. I'm not saying he's not working. He's working and he's going to be tired. 64 hours is a lot, right? He's also working just as she is also working. Forget the fact that she's at home taking care of those children. She's also working and it's possible that she can get exhausted and she doesn't rest. Okay? The fact that she still wants to spend time with the family outside shows that she wants that family bonding, and probably that is how she, have her own enjoyment, or that is how she enjoy her own time. And she wants to spend it with her family. So it is wise for the man and for the family to just, we know you work 2 jobs. You can be tired. It's normal for you to be tired. Like, it's normal for you to be tired after a long day at work, especially when you're doing 2 jobs. You need to rest. Even if it doesn't rest, it's going to break down. That is my own. I feel like if it doesn't rest, it will break down. So it's better for him to just have some days that he rests. That is off day. Let him rest and, revive his energy. But let him have one day, if that is what the wives classify as fun, if that is what she wants in the relationship, he needs to attend to her needs. That is how it is. I feel like that's how family is supposed to work. It needs to have at least have like one day out of, once a month, they can have family outing and enjoy themselves, than him just saying, you know what, I'm not going to go anywhere because I've worked 2 jobs. I'm just going to stay at home. I just want to stay at home. You are not meeting your wife's needs, and that can be dangerous to her mental health. Anyway, what is your take on this video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, Sugar Mariah Davis, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.